To create variety to your music, you might want to get some data from the game. And one data that we can obtain is how many enemies are there, how many are still there, and check when there are only few left or when they're all died. That could suggest you to create different changes in the music according to how many are left, or increasing the tension in the music until you eliminate the last one. We needed then to retrieve this data, and to access that, it's already pre-made in the ruins level if you go into the level blueprint. In the level blueprint at the top, you'll see that there is an event begin play, and there is a sequence node, and this sequence node triggers exactly this enemy count calculation. What it does first is to trigger a delay that I set of 10 seconds, which is quite important in the ruins level because there's a lot of things happening before. And then after that delay has passed, it looks for the class of the enemy. We collect basically the overall number of the enemy in the level, and we set them in the memory of the computer. This will allow you to know at any time how many enemies are playing, and this is also visible whenever you press play. So if you press play, so you can see here when I start the level and you wait 10 seconds, after you wait 10 seconds, you will see appear a number there. That's the number of enemies that has been displayed. If you don't mind having that on the screen, you can leave it there. Otherwise, you just connect this set to this one and you cut this off. I think it's best if you leave it this way so you have a kind of an idea of what's going on. The next bit that this piece of code does is that it rolls through every single enemies each time. So it counts how many they are, and then it grabs a list out of them, and that is collected here. And then it just look through each of them to look at their status. It looks if the event on destroyed, which is contained in every single blueprint of all the enemy, has been triggered. When it is triggered, then it calculates subtraction from the total amount, total count of the enemy. It subtracts the one that have been destroyed. So how can you turn this into your advantage? Well, what you will be maybe inspired to design is this part here. So you don't even have to worry about this area. You just want to worry about this area. And this area means that we have our set parameter that we know already and you're familiar with, that requires a target, and the target is the music object that is currently playing in the level. If you look at what is music ruins, I created an object that is actually simply containing an event that plays the music. You can do your own event. So here, all you need to do is to drag your music event inside the level, select it, and then when you go here, you create a reference to music ruins. So when you create a reference and you try to connect there, he will automatically put the audio components. You don't have to worry about anything else. So now that we have this thing, this can be changed with your own event. We have a set parameter that know exactly which object needs to change, which is obviously the music event in your fmod. And it's looking into what parameter name. And I created this one called EnemyCount in fmod, where you can then modify accordingly to the results of the subtractions, the ongoing subtraction that happen to the enemy total count whenever they get killed. So the parameter basically is set to the total value of the enemies. What does that mean in fmod? If I go in the music ruins object, I have two simple pieces of music that can be interchanged like this with the condition. And I have one switch called music changes, that it changes between explore and danger, and an enemy count that goes from 0 to 1. When you start the game, this set parameter enemy count will be set to 9 automatically. This in the design here has been associated with the volume of this tension music. So I have normally a parameter set to 9, and when I have a lot of enemies, I decided to have a lot of this sound. When I kill them all, this sound will go away. You could actually do the opposite if you want to. When I go into the danger music, obviously when the cursor will be here, I will start from this situation with a lot of tension, and the more I kill, the more it will go down. And that already is changing the music. I am aware that the music of combat will start when the music changes will be set to 1, so will be in what I call the danger in the label. But when you killed all the enemies, the tension will go away, but you will be still in the combat music. To avoid that, I simply set a condition, check for the enemy count that reaches 0, and apply this value to the music changes parameter, meaning go back to explore. Now, how can you play with this? You can set different conditions, so that when the enemies are 3, you will trigger another parameter. Here there's only 2, but you can create 3, 4, whatever you want. So this allows you in sum to create 2 type of parameter based on the total count of enemy that gets updated all the time. So this automatically will change the more enemies you kill. And this is called the enemy count parameter. Another one is to do options and conditions, checking for individual values to change the parameter music changes. So you have stored data that gets constantly updated that you can use to change a continuous parameter or to pick certain points out of it and use it as triggers through our conditions